Just wanted to do this quick video as I'm down in Yorba Linda. I just bought a little fitness device that I saw on Instagram, but then I ended up seeing someone had it for sale on Facebook Marketplace. I love Facebook Marketplace. It's not as robust as Craigslist, but you definitely can find good deals, good steals. So real quick, this video is about a really awesome post that I saw a buddy of mine post on Facebook, and it was stop being so attached to your story and start getting more attached to the success that you want to have. And I thought it was a great point. And there was a woman who said, "Can you elaborate?" So I wanted to elaborate. I was going to write a post. I said, why don't I just make a video? I want to start doing these YouTube videos every day as I grow my channel. Um, I just joined the Amazon influencer program because of all of my total social reach is over 30,000 people. So I want to, start giving more value than simply just doing product reviews and saying, "Hey, buy stuff in my link." So I want to add value. So here's my take on that thought. So we all have stories that matter, that shape our lives, that determine kind of who we are up to this point in our lives. And those stories can potentially make us heroes, victims, villains, or people who stop trying because of the lack of success in the past previously. Now, you know, as a former Marine, as a former naval officer, and I know some people are going to say, "Wait, you're never not a Marine." So, as a Marine and a former naval officer, how about that? We're taught to overcome adversity, to work through difficult situations, and make sure that we can still lead and complete the mission. So, if each person thinks of their life as a mission, the first part of a mission is actually knowing what the objective is, right? What's the objective? And then how do you get there? Is you're going to have a plan. And then, like Mike Tyson said, everybody has a plan so they get punched in the mouth. Speaking of punch in the mouth, there's a great video by Will Smith where he does get slow motion punched in his face by his son. I'm going to put a link to the description after the fact once I get back home. But anyway, um, you got to have a desired outcome. And then once you have that desired outcome, you then develop your plan. And once you have that plan, you start to go on that journey and then things start to change. Now, based on previous failures, one could say, yeah, I tried that. It doesn't work for me. I'm going to give up. Or one could say, I tried that. It didn't work. What did I do wrong? What can I do better? And they're going to keep adjusting the course. And this happens when you're in the Navy. When you're on a desk, when you have a destination set, that destination doesn't happen without resistance, right? Currents and tides, obstacles within the ocean, others vessels, right? So you're constantly course correcting all the time. We have an autopilot, but even autopilot doesn't keep you directly on course because there are outside conditions and factors that are changing at all times. So you're constantly making course corrections to ensure that you get to the desired destination, right? That we've mapped out. The same thing happens in business, the same thing happens in relationships. You have a desired outcome, but it's not always going to move and go in a smooth fashion. So going back to the original point was don't be so attached to your story. If I were to tell you my whole story, it would sound like a very sad one, but there's a bunch of highs that maybe get overlooked when we talk about the past, but we crescendo it up. But their life is a bunch of highs and lows. Life is about peaks and valleys, right? So for me, when I think about not being attached to the story, what I think about is, my father was a Marine as well. he got addicted to drugs, heroin, cocaine, mainlining cocaine. He was murdered when I was 9 years old. My mother was looking for love in all the wrong places, and my mother was got addicted to crack cocaine for 8 years. And so I lived with my grandmother, and my grandmother was a functional alcoholic for many of those years. But she made sure that we went to school. She made sure that we were clothed, and fed, and clean. And if I was just attached to that story, I would just feel sorry for myself. I would just feel like, why me? Why has my life been dealt these cards? Which I did feel that way as a young teenager before I was able to kind of really process everything and go and get the therapy that I needed to heal myself. But as a full adult, it's my responsibility to parent myself. Adulting 101 is understanding what things that you can change, having courage to change those things, and having the wisdom to know what things you can't change. So, back to the original point, not being attached to the story. So, in not being attached to that story, what I was able to do was look at all of those things that happened to me and said, you know what? Life didn't happen to me, it happened for me. It happened so that I could go through all of that, still come out strong, still come out unbroken, and maybe potentially be a light for someone else. I have the saying, life is like a game of freeze tag in which only you can unfreeze yourself. But the way you unfreeze yourself is with the light of another, off on their journey, living their life on their mission. And when you connect with with your purpose and with a path, that path is not going to take you all the way to the destination, but it's going to help you move forward along that journey. So, not being so attached to your story, to your past, gives you space, gives you room to breathe and grow and become a better version of yourself. I don't believe in being yourself. I think you should strive to be the best version of yourself in every instance that you have the energy and capacity to do so. Because being yourself is at times extremely motivated, at times extremely lazy, at times loving, at times selfish. Being yourself in any given moment is a bunch of things. We are not just one person. We are not just one way. And for people to expect that of you is wrong of them, but they know not what they do because they haven't taken the time to maybe self-develop themselves and go on that quest of personal development. So don't be yourself. Be the best version of yourself whenever at all possible, so that you can move further along the journey and also be that light, be that energetic light that could help someone reach their goals, reach their potential. And speaking of which, and this is the last thing I'll say before I go, I I'm often talking to random people, random strangers, part of my profession, but just part of my desire and love to connect with people. So the other day, I was delivering a policy to a client, and I was waiting at a Starbucks because I was a little bit early. So I said, "Yeah, let me get in." I don't really drink that much coffee, but I said, you know what? Let me just maybe have a tea. Let me patronize Starbucks, right? I don't want to get caught out there. So I was chatting with a gentleman. We ended up chatting for maybe 30 or 40 minutes, actually. He's a former criminal defense attorney, and currently he works as a professor at a college. And after talking, he said, you have this affinity for teaching. You ever thought about teaching? I said, teachers really don't make enough money, but I get to teach in what I do for a living. And they go, so teachers can make some good money, especially if you're with the university system, college system here in California. And so he gave me his card because he was recruiting me to come, be a part of his world. But more importantly, though, he told me about a nonprofit called AF. Actually, let me look up the name really quick because I do not want to get it wrong. Um, I actually tweeted at the founder of this nonprofit, but it's a nonprofit designed to create mentorship for men of color of all ages, so that they can have exposure to positivity and to options in the world and not feel helpless and hopeless. So I'm actually pulling it up right now. Let's see here. Give me 1 second. I think it's A to mend. A to amend. No, no, A4. There we go. A4. Actually, I'm butchering the end of this video here. I apologize, but I will put the link in the description box because I know I tweeted at him and he tweeted back. Um, but my Twitter isn't loading as I have poor signal. Boy, can I not wait for 5G. But anyway, if you're interested in mentoring men of color, or you are a man of color with some success and you would like to give back and you would like to mentor some young folks, some older folks, I'm going to put the link in the description box when I get home a little bit later today. Feel free to reach out to me on Instagram at Jamar J, on Twitter at Jamar J, and happy to open up a dialogue and just create a community. You know, the internet has given me so much. It's exposed me to so much information and knowledge, and I definitely want to share some. So thanks for checking out the video, and I hope that helped. Have a great day. Peace.